Hello and welcome back to my craft room. You may have noticed I've been a little bit quiet lately. I've had a few days kind of a little bit offline because I had some other things that needed sorting out. I just needed a little bit of a break. But I have been carrying on arty-farting in the background, and I thought it'd be good to come back and show you how I've been getting on with ArtyFartober. So it is day 15 of Inktober, and I'm following the ArtyFartober list, a prompt list, which was put together by three of the lovely ladies in our Discord community: Tori of Cool Cookie Creatures, Claire 96 Bell, and Rachel Brereton Art, or Arilee, in our Discord. I put together this amazing prompt list. I'll leave my link tree in the description box, so from there you can find your way to free Discord community or the Arty Annie Facebook page, and the prompt list is posted in both those places. The last catch up I did, let's go to the desk a minute. The last catch up I did, I think I had just shown you my day 7 was portrait of Annie. So this was my little self portrait made of paper fabric. This is the Sea White of Brighton sketchbook that I'm using. So I did my inspired by piece in it, my tunnel book, Haunted Wood, and then I started on ArtyFartober. So where did we get to? Here we go. So because this is my self-portrait and obviously this wouldn't fit into the book, what I did was, I think that last time I showed you a peek at some of the other portraits of me that other people have done, and I printed them off and stuck them in here, and since then I've noticed one or two others as well, which I will subsequently print off and squeeze in around here. There's still some room left for the extra ones that I missed. So on to day 8. Day 8, the prompt was churches, so I decided to do a church window, and this was inspired by my very vivid memory of a beautiful church window in Oxford, and it wasn't your typical kind of stained glass colourful thing with an image with different biblical scenes in it or whatever. It was just little tiny panes of glass catching the light as the sun went down, and all the different shades of greeny blue of the glass, and it's really stuck in my mind. I couldn't find my original photo of it, so I just did this from memory, and I'm going to stop now and show you a little peek at how I put this together. Okay, so what you can see me doing here is just using my little T ruler to give me some guidelines, and then I'm freehanding the arches at the top of the window. I just kind of had this shape in my head and roughly worked out the best way I could to do it. Here I'm inking in the lines, just some of the brick work, not all of them, just giving a bit of an indication. I'm using a waterproof liner there so that I can use my watercolours over the top, and this is the Derwent Graphitint paints. Love these, really natural colours, and I like the way they kind of blend together. Yeah, really lovely range of colours. A bit of a challenge to use them to start with, and here I just used this lovely kind of greeny blue that was in there. There were 3 different kind of greens and blues. I mixed them together and just use them in varying kind of strengths to sort of change so that each pane looked different, if that makes sense. Just roughly giving an idea of some of the stonework and using a mixture of all of the different colours in there. Yeah, this paint set was perfect for doing this with. That's my take on the churches prompt. So day 9 was Dark Side, so I immediately thought of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon and their iconic album cover, and this is kind of my take on it with little glints of gold because it's the golden anniversary, the 50th anniversary of that iconic album this year, so it has little bits of gold in here, and it's not the triangle. I decided to make it more like the moon, and the man in the moon shape kind of happened accidentally, but I went with it. Here's a little peek at how this came together. So for this one I used some of this Frisk black alcohol ink paper, and the Frisk alcohol marker set that we got in last month's scrawler box, and the CSY Gallery metallic paints. Beautiful, beautiful metallic paints. So Claire sent me. I'm taking a little piece of post-it note paper there and cutting out a circle for my moon, just as a mask for now, and I'm just getting that paint really nice and wet, and then just running random lines of it across. I wanted to use the gold and the silver. There was a kind of a pearly whitish silver. Here I'm just taking out some of the bits I didn't want with a clean wet brush, and I'm using a ruler, and I'm going with the Frisk acrylic markers now, just adding in that kind of that white line, fanning it out a little bit with a wet brush, and now adding the rainbow of colours. Now back to the CSY metallic paints, and the man in the moon kind of happened a little bit accidentally, and I'm just adding some details and outline now with the white pen. Okay, so that was dark side. So now we're on to day 10. Day 10 was bird now. The other day, if you're a regular viewer, you might have seen I did a little video, quite a long video actually, all about my second sort of session experimenting with momigami, which is a Japanese technique where you turn paper into material and kind of be stitched into kind of like fabric, and they make clothes and all sorts of storage and all sorts of things with it. It was my first go at using the traditional konnyaku paste, and this was a magazine page. It was out of the National Trust magazine, so I momigamied it, stitched it onto a piece of calico, and then stitched into it to bring the image back. I lost the image a little bit because you can see the surface of the ink kind of comes off a little bit, it crackles and everything, but I really love that effect, so I was really pleased with this. And you can see I've not stuck it in yet because I wanted to show you how flexible this is. You'd never think this was a magazine page. Yeah, absolutely thrilled to bits with that, so I will be doing that again. Okay, on to day 11. The prompt was under the microscope, and I've been watching a lot of Miss Betsy. If you haven't checked out Miss Betsy's channel before, do. If you love doodling and things, check out Miss Betsy. She's amazing. Her channel's growing so fast, deservedly so. I subscribed to her seems like a very few months ago, when she just started out, and she's gone whew, and she's very inspirational, and this was one of her. She's done a whole series of patterns that you can follow along, and I love her channel. I will leave a link for sure. Well worth a watch. And this was one of her patterns, which she called mycelium. Now I think you can just see mycelium with the naked eye. I don't think you need a microscope to see it, but it just sort of fitted the theme for me, and it was such a joy to do this pattern. Here's a little look at my process. I decided to create a nice colourful background for this one. I'm using Distress ink. There I've got ripe persimmon, rusty hinge, worn lipstick and spiced marmalade, and I'm just using them randomly around the page, applying them with a blending brush. I love using these inks. I'm using them a lot at the moment. I've had them for years. You can do so many different things with them, and they all blend together beautifully. And then you'll see in a minute I'm going to sprinkle them with a bit of water to create some interesting background effects. Here we go, I'm just sprinkling water. I think I spritz straight from the bottle, and then I flicked some big drops on with my hand. Just left it for a few seconds and then mopped it up with a rag to lift some of the colour and leave that nice interesting effect. So now I'm starting the actual doodle, and I won't try and explain how this works because you're really better off to go and watch Miss Betsy show it herself. It was so much fun to do. Once I got into it, it just felt really instinctive. Yeah, really enjoyed it. I've just started working on the pattern here now. The pages, it filled up very quickly actually. I'm just using a Sharpie pen. And now I've got a nice soft pencil, matte graphite pencil, and a blending stump, and I'm just adding a bit of shadow where the shapes kind of go underneath, and then white pencil for highlights. Okay, so that's that's how it came together for me. Absolutely thoroughly enjoyed doing this, and I will definitely do more of this pattern. It just felt so kind of instinctive to do. Go and check out Miss Betsy's channel if you want to find out how to do it properly. Okay, on to day 12, and day 12 was Hobbit. If you're in our Discord community, you'll know one of my nicknames is the Hobbit, and this was started by my son Tom, who you will have seen on in various videos on this channel. He's called me the Hobbit for a long time, largely because I'm really small with big feet and hairy toes. So here's a close-up of the hairy toes. I have to say I really did enjoy kind of depicting myself as a hobbit, because secretly I'd just love to be a hobbit. This is me standing outside my cosy little hobbit house that I'd like to live in. And this was just done, I didn't record any of this, this was just done with, I sketched it out in pencil, then I used, what did I use? Oh, I used these Derwent Graphitint paints again. I thought it'd be nice natural earthy colours. I think traditionally hobbits like to wear bright colours, but as far as kind of natural dyes go, these would be reasonably bright colours. I thought these were quite bright, but not in your face. Yeah. I don't know if they had glasses either, but okay, on to day 13. This is the last one I've got to show you today. So the prompt was mushrooms. This is kind of inspired by watching Miss Betsy. I put together my own kind of repetitive pattern, and in much the same way as kind of Zen tangles are relaxing. It's because you're repeating something over and over again. You don't have to think too hard about it. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I will experiment a bit more with this pattern because I think I could do an awful lot of different things with this. Here's a little peek at how it came together. I'm starting again by creating a colourful background. I'm using mustard seed and rusty hinge, and just again applying them randomly with the blending brushes. And I'm starting in with my fine liner, and I'm just creating a shape there where it's kind of just an arch on the bottom and then a wiggly shape on the top. These have become the caps of my Shantel mushrooms. But some of them I'm just doing more of a blobby round shape like that, and some of them I'm doing the same shape but upside down, so the arch shape is on the top and the wiggly bit is underneath. Doesn't really matter which way round. And when you look at Shantel mushrooms, they do vary in this kind of a way. They're also delicious. So I just carried on doing this until I'd kind of filled a page, and then I started bringing down that kind of flute shape to make that kind of trumpet shape that they make, and then filling in that shape with vertical lines, sort of following the arc of the trumpet shape that I've made. And I just kept repeating that until all of the shapes were filled. Okay, and then since I finished filming it, I've filled in some of the spaces between. I've kind of thickened up some of the outlines. I added these circles and then little dots of highlights here and there as well. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing that, and I will play with that idea again. So day 14 is space. I'm going to combine this with some, well, not tomorrow's prompt because it really should be today's prompt. It's the 15th today. The prompt for day 15 for ArtyFartober is goat. So what I'm going to do is a kind of a space, kind of a galaxy scene, but with the constellation for Capricorn to represent goat, so I can combine the 2 days together, and then I'm all caught up and I've got a fresh start after my break. So that's it. That's some of what I've been up to while I've been a little bit AWOL. I've got all sorts of things coming up in the pipeline. I've just started today putting together a little kind of like a showcase video of all the amazing creations that everybody made for the Inspired by prompt. So it was inspired by Halloween, and I said I'd keep on looking until the 14th. So you can still make things inspired by the prompt, but now I'm going to round up everything and put it into this. I've already started put all the pieces into a little showcase video, so watch out for that coming in the next couple of days or so. And I'm working on the online gallery, putting all of the stitchery swaps into a gallery, so that we can all, so when the next stitchery swap starts on the 1st of November, hopefully the gallery will be there and we can all have a look and take inspiration. And yeah, it'll just be, I can't wait to see them all together. It's just going to be mind-blowing, I think. Okay, so that is me for today. I think that's all I need to say. If you'd like to join in with ArtyFartober, please do use the hashtag ArtyFartober23 so that we can find you. I notice on Instagram and Facebook there are quite a few now popping up with that hashtag, so that's really exciting. And yeah, and I just think it's one of the most fun prompt lists I've ever worked from so far. Not a single day has stumped me yet. I was a little bit about goat, but once I had that idea about Capricorn, I thought, yes, sorted. Okay, I thank you very much for joining me today, and I will see you again really soon, probably tomorrow.